All right, you guys. Chapter 7, Multicellular Primary Producers. We've got 48 slides, so I'm going to split up in about halves, just like always. Now with this key concept, I am going to actually slow down a little bit on this particular page, because I want you to notice something. We did not call this chapter Marine Plants, because, now back in my day, a lot of these guys, well, pretty much all of them, were under the plant kingdom. But as we discussed, there's been a lot of changes in the evolutionary setup in the classification due to the evolutionary tree. They've realized a lot of these things need to be separated out from plants. So we've got plants, green algae, red algae, and all the way over here, brown algae, okay? So that's why we don't call them plants. But they are most definitely primary producers because they undergo photosynthesis. All right? Seaweeds, also known as macroalgae. These are your multicellular algae in the oceans. You've got the red, the brown, and the green algae. Seaweeds are extremely economically important. They will provide habitat for other organisms and provide food for other organisms. Okay, where can they be found? Most species are benthic, meaning that they're found on the bottom, right? Benthic bottom. Whew, say that word a lot. All right. Some of them are part of the fouling community. Fouling again means that they slow down ships. They're built on the bottom of the hulls of ships. If you've ever had a boat in the water and you've seen that green algae build up, that's what we're talking about. They'll live on pilings. So if you're on a dock and you see that green algae, that's what we're talking about again. Boat hulls, moorings, any other surface. Distribution is governed primarily by light, because obviously they need light to undergo photosynthesis, and by temperature. Most are found in warm waters. There are obviously exceptions. Our brown algae are found in cold water, hence why ginormous kelp forests are found in the Pacific Ocean, because that water is significantly colder. I think I told you guys last year I wanted to get a beautiful specimen of Halimeda and I'm blanking on the word right now. But there's these brown algae, and I got them in, and I was so happy, and I put them in a tank, and then I went home. And then I came to school the next day, and the tank was, the cloudiest I'd seen it. And I just thought, okay, great. I did another tank crash. And no, that was not the case at all. Thank goodness. It was the algae that started breaking down, because that algae was used to 50-degree water, and obviously our tank is 78 degrees. And I was sitting there going, I'm an idiot because I know better, right? Remember what happens when we change the temperature of an organism? It's, magic word, proteins. It's proteins get denatured, right? And I had requests to show the tank, so I will definitely show the tank before the second half of this video, okay? We've cleaned the tank, looks great, and the light's been on for quite a while, so I really want you guys to see that particular toad school coral that you guys did. That was the most expensive coral we had that you guys fragged. Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful. Can't wait for y'all to see it. All right? The effects of light on seaweed distribution. Some of them can live with light, the different types of light. Some of them are at greater depths, but overall they're going to still need light. So distribution is dependent on herbivory, competition, pigment concentration, a few other things. Diversity is obviously greatest in tropical waters. That's where there's going to be the most light. Many are colder water algae, are perennials. They'll complete a life cycle in more than 2 seasons. And extreme temperatures can kill algae. If they're used to cold, they want the cold. Like I said, my tank killed them. If they like the hot and you put them in cold, that's going to kill them too. They need to have that constant temperature. They like that little zone where they're happy. After you go past that, they don't do well. Now, the main reason they took the algae out of the plant community is because they don't have the 3 main organs of plants. 3 main organs of plants are leaves, stems, and roots. Well, what are you talking about, Paul? They've got that. They've got stems, but they don't have a true root system. They have what we call holdfast, and they don't have a true leaves. They have what we call thallus, or blades, okay? So the holdfast, so let's say you have a rock right here, and you've got your actual seaweed, then they will have these extensions that latch onto the rock. They don't actually go into the sand. They'll latch onto the rock, and you see them. All right, we've been working on that algae cast. It's still not quite there, so I'm hoping it'll get there, and I'll be able to show you post a picture. Not there yet, believe it or not, it's being stubborn. I think I did a little too thick. That was my first one ever. And then you go up, and then you'll have one of those blades, okay? A lot of times, you see these right here? Those are air pockets, what we call bladders. And they're full of air so that those blades will stand up instead of just falling to the ground. So by standing up, they have all that surface area to be exposed to sunlight so that all of it will perform photosynthesis, producing as much food as possible for the entire organism. Notice I didn't say the word plant. Stipe, stem-like region, and that's pretty much it. They do not have vascular tissue. Vascular tissue, that's your xylem, which carries water, and your phloem, which carries your sugar, i.e. glucose, and your nutrients. That's what's missing, okay? Don't have stem, leaves, and flowers. So it starts to make sense that they actually did get separated from plants. It's just frustrating. Because it's something that's changed. But that's what we know about science. It's always changing, right? We're living that right now. Major distinction based on photosynthetic pigments. They're all going to have chlorophyll A, but green algae will also have chlorophyll B. Brown algae will have chlorophyll C, and then red algae will have chlorophyll D. Depending on which chlorophyll they have, it allows them to absorb the different wavelength. And again, remember, wavelength refers to color spectrum. So if they reflect, right, they don't absorb it, so they reflect it. So green algae is going to be green. It's not going to reflect it. It's not going to absorb it. Sorry, it's going to reflect it. So it's going to absorb the red, the blue, the orange, the purple, the red. I think I said that wrong. Let me try that again. The purple, the blue, the orange, the red is what the green algae is going to absorb, thereby reflecting the yellow and the greens. And you see that right there. And then depending on which one, it's going to absorb different things. That's all this is showing you. Okay? Basically, whatever color it is what it's reflecting, and whatever color it's not is what it's absorbing. That's the general easy rule to look at. Composition of cell walls, they're made of cellulose, similar to plants. Some have calcium carbonate. I will find pictures for the labs to send you guys, and we'll do a virtual lab for this. There's some really cool ones out there. Fragmentation is how they reproduce, so they break off a piece. The thallus breaks and grows into a new seaweed. Sargassum is really, really good for this. So you probably have seen sargassum on our beaches. Little clusters that'll come in thick batches. If you see this floating in the water, go up to it, take a net, and just shake it over the net. Then take the sargassum out and take a look at your net. You can easily find crabs, sargassum, frogfish in there. You can find pipefish. You can find a lot of really cool stuff in this. Sargassum sea, it's this ginormous mat. It's found in the Atlantic Ocean, and it's just this mass and mat of sargassum growing together, right? And then eventually you'll have a storm that comes in, the currents will be just right, and parts of it will just break off and come floating around. With us being right next to it, we get a lot of this on our beaches. You'll see this a lot also in the Keys. It's really cool. So they asexual reproduction through spore formation, haploid N, so you have half the DNA. Haploid spores are formed within an area of the thallus. Remember that's the blade, okay, through meiosis. Sporophyte, diploid, 2N, so you've got double the DNA. The stage of life cycle that produces spores, which is diploid. All right? Coming up on almost the halfway mark for this first part of the sexual reproduction. They have a gametophyte, which is going to produce the gametes. Gametangia, that's the structure where the gametophyte will produce the gametes. These guys also go through alternation generations. It just means that they have more than one multicellular stage. If you've taken college bio 2 or bio 1, you have an idea what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, and you're going, what in the world is this? Don't fret, okay? I'm going to do a crash course on this one, but don't fret about this. So basically, humans, animals, right? We have a sperm and we have an egg. These are both unicellular haploid, where they have half the DNA, right? If we're talking about humans, that's 23 chromosomes and 23 chromosomes. They come together, fertilization occurs, and that is still one cell, because the only part of the sperm that goes in is the nucleus. So it's unicellular diploid. double the DNA because now we have 46 chromosomes. Obviously, that's going to go through mitosis, become multicellular. Don't make me draw an adult. You know I can't. Multicellular diploid. Adult. Or even a baby, right? Baby that will grow into an adult. Boom. The adult then undergoes meiosis, produces, whoopsie, let's go right here, either an egg or a sperm. Egg, obviously, if they're female, sperm if they're male, right? Nothing new there. That's the entire life cycle for animals. So, uni-hap, uni-dip, multi-dip. That's what I like to call it. Plants, so the stage it's missing is multi-hap. That's what plants have that we don't. So imagine one more step, multi-haploid, which then produces what we need for fertilization to occur for uni-dip. Okay? This would actually be where the sperm and the egg are. Alright, you have some kind of cellular substructure which would grow into multi-hap and then produce a sperm and the egg which would have fertilization, uni-dip. It's kind of weird. And that multi-hap is you're going to meet a fight. Okay? That's what we call alternation generations. So it means we have uni-haploid, multi-haploid, uni-diploid, multi-diploid. That's what we're talking about, okay? Don't let that fret you. I'm not going to be real big about this for the test, okay? But I wanted to expose this to you because, let me tell you, it's a concept that I read over and over and had presented to me over and over and over, and finally I read it and I was like, really? That's all it is? And they just never simplified it? So that's why I want to make sure you understand it. Okay, green algae, phylum Chlorophyta. They contain both A and B chlorophyll and carotenoids. Most are unicellular. Some have cenocytic thallus, and it's just this particular type right here. Don't fret about that. Okay, large diversity of forms, large variety here. Responsive green algae to herbivory. Some of them just can put up with it. They've got really, really fast growth, release spores and zygotes when they start to get eaten. Some will be avoidance. They'll be so small they can hide in crevices and reefs. And then some of them will actually have some kind of deterrence, some way to repel a predator. And there's the life cycle. This particular green algae is called ulva. It's really pretty. Like I said, I'm going to get you guys a virtual lab like I've been doing with my Bio 2 kiddos, so if you've been talking to them, so we'll do one like that. But I love these guys. Ulva is super thin, and it's like a green, thin lettuce. That's the best description I've got for you, and it's just so thin, it's so pretty. There's actually also a coral, an animal, that looks a lot like these guys that I've tried growing, and one time it didn't do well. That's okay, we'll try again. But yeah, green algae, ulva, so cool. All right, now we're going to red algae, phylum Rhodophyta. Got a red pigment. Phycoerythins. Structure red algae, they are also multicellular and very diverse. Everything from hard coral, microscopic, and macro. Food for sea urchins, fish, mollusks, and crustaceans. Response to herbivory. Some have a hard carcass, just like this one, calcium carbonate, to be hard to graze. Complex life cycles. They've got a very rapid growth and annual life cycle, which allows for rapid replacement of biomass. And some again grow in crevices. We actually have red algae growth in our tank. You've probably seen that and wonder, well, what the heck was that? That's the red algae growing in there. We want that. That is what causes our nitrates and phosphates to stay lower. Those guys right there. And here you go. You've got another life cycle of them showing that.